Hello and welcome. My name is Mary Lou Coombe, and today I've got the beautiful Nova Rose here with us. I've interviewed Nova before, but I couldn't say no to interviewing her again because I've known her for a while now, and we've been on such a journey, both of us, separately, together, and we've watched each other evolve. And so much has happened in the last few years since we've last spoken to her. And I'm just so excited to be sharing some stuff that she's been doing and things that has been happening in her world, and the way that she's stepping up and supporting children in such a magnificent way. She's helped my boys with her tapping sessions and her workshops. Just amazing. Love you, Nova. And I'm so happy you're here again, doing this little interview. Now, as most of you know, we're just going to be as organic as possible and just kind of having a little chit chat so you get to know both of us. But we want to add value to you, the viewer, as well, with some of the things that can help your children, self regulate, feel better. But a big, big topic that Nova and I have been coming across at the moment and speaking, and the language that we've been picking up with the kids that we've been working with, is parents who either want us to fix their children or are tired of the system trying to fix their children. So that's going to be a big topic to us today. But for those that have not seen Nova on my channel before or have not heard of her work, I am going to get her to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about what she does, and all the modalities that she uses. Hello, beautiful Nova.
Hi, Marilou. Thanks for having me. And thanks for having me again after, a few years. So a lot's changed, really.
I know, right?
Yeah. So my name is Nova Rose, and I am a coach that supports families to really just shine as much as they can through better emotional health, strong mindsets, trusting their bodies and their minds, just so that they can navigate life together better with more fun. And the reason that I do this work now, specifically around families and kids, is from my own journey, really right back from starting at the very start with a traumatic birth, and then feeling like the world's worst mother, falling into a pit of depression, diagnosed with postnatal anxiety, being put on antidepressants. But the main thing was the lack of support for me then. I was just crying out for help, and nothing was helping me. All they could do was go, here, take these drugs. And I did. And I was just like, why am I doing this? This isn't helping. So that's when I first started discovering more alternative holistic approaches and turned my life around really within months. So that led me to actually quitting my job of being an optician for 20 years and owning my own store, getting rid of the whole optics side of business and retraining in body-mind techniques so that I can support people the way that I found this support. And then moving more into families, there was my own journey with my own children with various labels: autism, ADHD, sensory processing, executive function, blah, blah, blah. We've dealt with suicide in the family in the last few years, plus there's been the whole lovely pandemic and all that, and there's been so much opportunity for growth for me. And everything we've been through, I don't view as problems or bad things that happen to us. It is all opportunities for growth, and seeing where I am now today compared to where I was a few years ago, it's just my joy really now to be able to offer some of those tools and support to other families to get through whatever they're going through. So I use I'm an EFT practitioner is probably one of the main things that I do. We would have talked about that a bit last time, which is emotional freedom techniques. So I do a lot of that work with kids and modify it for children. So emotional regulation, but really modified in fun ways, using all my work colleagues like this guy who are on my desk ready to help me.
I love it.
But I'm also a certified heart math ad heart facilitator. So I do a lot of heart work, which the kids just respond to amazingly. It's just beautiful to watch. I'm a Koki Zen practitioner. So Koki Zen is a type of energy that comes through all of my work. I'm a Ho'oponopono practitioner as well, which I don't teach to my clients, but I definitely work with on my clients like behind the scenes. And I'm a life coach, and I'm also certified in mindfulness as well. So
And youth
um,
mentoring now.
yeah, that's me.
Absolutely, I love it. And I'm sitting here shaking my head because with so much of your journey, I went on a very similar journey early on,
Yeah,
and I think that's why sometimes we step into what we step into,
yeah,
um, because we've been on this really difficult journey and the lack of support. And then,
yeah,
and I just want to say to anybody out there who is on medication, to uplift them and to help them get out of a dark place. There's actually nothing wrong with that. But just
totally.
understand that that's not your only place that you can go to. There are so many other things available to you that could help you on a completely different level. Now, for me, drugs were given to me, but I refused to take them because I wanted to try, to be without them. Doing, and for me, the mindset work and shifting, my energy and my state and my physiology and all of that is what actually got me through and really helped me.
It's
Um,
same. Yeah,
then,
absolutely.
but there's not, we're not saying that there's anything wrong with it. It's just, it is a very tunnel view, I find, from GPs and,
Yeah,
certain practitioners where it's like, it's not a kind of fix it all. And sometimes we need it to just get us out of that pit of shit. But I do find that then other problems arise from side effects and all of that I just didn't want to go down because I knew then it would be harder for me. But yeah,
and
I'm
that's
sitting
and that's
here
what I.
shaking my head, going, yes, yes, yes.
Mm,
And isn't it such a blessing that we've been through these journeys to
mm,
get us to where we are now so that we can actually understand when we are with clients what it's like and that we can
hmm.
guide them on that journey and give them those tools that we've built up ourselves. So it's really, really beautiful. Now, I've got an 11-year-old and 9-year-old, and my oldest, when he was 10, I remember you put on in some of the lockdowns last year a few
Yeah.
EFT online sessions for kids. Um,
Mm.
and I remember my eldest was like, no, 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 I don't want to get on.
Yeah,
But
he
then
was.
because his brother really wanted to do it and it was there in the background and he sat there and he did it. And afterwards he went, oh, that was really good, Mom. That really works. So ever since then, we've gone back to the tapping that we do before bed because of you.
Yeah, and he was beautiful. I totally remember working with him, and how resistant he was at the start. I was just, his
He
face
was.
said it all. He was just like, I'm not going to do this, and I'm not going to enjoy it. And by the end, he gave me a beautiful smile, and he was like, "Thank you," and
I know,
just
right?
warmed
So
up, and it was
so
just
tell
beautiful.
me, something. With all the youth that we get to work with all the children, and when I say youth, I use that as all children.
Yeah,
Teenagers don't really want to be called children, so
yeah.
I kind of use youth for little ones to, the teen stage. But how do you deal with that? If a parent came to you and you had a resistant, a child who was resisting seeing you, how do you approach that? How do you work with that? How do you maybe even bring them around? I'd love to know, if a parent goes, I want to come work with you, but my child's saying, no, don't want to
Yeah,
see anyone.
yeah. I mean, a lot of the time as well, like I'll trust the child as well. Like I've got full trust in the child. So if I meet the child and they don't gel with me, that's cool too. Like it's not, we can't force, well, I don't think it's something to be a relationship to be forced. But
Definitely
more
not.
often than not, I think because I speak to the children on that more energetic level, I want to connect with their energy. I want to see what they really need, not what mum says or dad says, which is important, obviously, to an extent, but I just want to talk to them. And I don't know whether it's just the energy or what, but I just connect with them so well. I do goof around quite a lot, depending on the age and reading the room and seeing what the
Yes.
child is like. But if it's at all possible, I will goof around. I
Yes.
just love it. And they love it too. And they're just like, oh, she's not doing what the other ones do, kind
So
of
what
thing.
advice can you give parents then before, so a parent contacts you, says, I really want to come see you, but my child is resistant. What would you say
So I
to
actually
a
had
parent?
that with one of my clients more recently. The parents really wanted to work with me. They were gorgeous, and the son he just clammed up. He was 9 years old, and he was just like, I don't want to do anything.
Mm,
So what we did is we backtracked a little bit, and for the first session, we just chitty chatted about whatever was important to him, which was his new puppy dog. So we talked all about the puppy. The puppy came in, and so for parents that are experiencing resistance with their kids, I would say, look, let them just come and meet me. No agenda. Let's just have fun. If it's the younger kids, it's often like toys or something like that. Sometimes with kids, we've got a bunch of crystals and things, or they bring their pets, and I bring my pet too. I've got a fluffy white cat, so he comes and joins in, just chat about whatever they want to talk about. And so with this client that I just had, we just spent 40 minutes just breaking the ice and having a good chat. And then depending on how they are, we can just leave it there, and then meet them again. Or if I can just throw them in one little tool at the end that's just a super fun thing that they can do, or show them a trick like, the visualizing trick to show them what is powerful in their body, something super fun that they can just take away, and then leave it up to them and let them make the decision if they want to continue or not. So far, I haven't had anyone say no.
Yeah, that is
Just
amazing.
warm up to the kids. But I'd say to the parents as well, be a little bit guided by your child as well. Like if there's an absolute resistance, don't push them, because they're just going to shut down, and then we're just
That's
wasting
what brings us
time.
to, this whole thing around fixing children, right?
Absolutely,
Because
yeah.
do you find that most of the children who are resistant to coming to see us are those that have been taken to many appointments with different practitioners, whether it's OT, whether it's psychologists, whether it's counseling, just they've been to a lot of different practitioners in order to be fixed. And children, I think these days are just over needing to be fixed. So I would love to address that with you, and I know we've spoken about it recently, and you've had a beautiful client who was like, I don't want my child to be fixed. Now that's from the parent, which is really beautiful that they were aware of that. So how much of that do you see? And I would love to hear your opinion around that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the type of clients I attract are definitely the more parents that are getting tired of that feeling of their either themselves aware that they're trying to fix their child, or whether it's if they've got labels and it's coming from within the system. And that's what I've become more aware of lately in my own special needs support groups that I'm in, is parents that are putting up posts going, I'm tired of specialists coming in and ticking their boxes and trying to fix my child. And it's sad because, and I've actually gone through it myself though as well. It's been one of my huge learning curves in the last couple of years, when we had a very challenging time, and she was then 10-year-old daughter having suicidal thoughts. And it was a very, very emotional and challenging time for all of us, as you can imagine. But what I realized was that was me. I was trying to fix my child. And and I feel like maybe that's one of the lessons that I had to learn through this part of my growth through this, and she even said to me outright, stop trying to fix me, mum, or why are you trying to fix me, or something. And I realized it was me doing it as well. So I had to completely backtrack and work through things myself. And I think I am through that. I feel so strong and so empowered now, and have no intention to change her whatsoever, just grow whoever she is. And even as we moved through that, and as I moved through my journey, she improved. So it really just showed that energetic connection to me of what she was going through. And we got her the help she needed, but it really wasn't the help she needed. We went to the psychologist. We had a beautiful psychologist at the time. She was a gorgeous lady. But it also then wasn't quite right. It was still my daughter going, why am I here? What's wrong? Why do you think there's something wrong with me? And then I'm like, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. And I could suddenly realize where it was coming from me. And then, so, we took the steps we needed to take, and I'm happy to say that she's thriving now. And so with other parents, I'd like to remind parents to just really sit with that and go, am I trying to fix my child, and with love, and there's absolutely no judgment, because I'm sure
No.
we all do it, and society doesn't help, because society's like, oh, this is the perfect child. So, and if you're on social media, you're bombarded by perfect parenting and all that, which, by the way, doesn't exist.
Does not exist.
And but
We
just
put our
sit with
hands
that.
up, don't we, Nova, and
Oh,
say
100%.
we
Yeah.
are so not
Imperfectly
perfect
perfect
parents, and
family.
there's not exactly.
Yeah. And so I do invite parents to just sit lovingly with themselves and go, am I trying to compare my child to some magical society perfect child? Am I trying to fix my child on some level because of pressure from family or pressure within myself? Whatever that could be. And it's all okay. It's all perfect, whatever it is. But then also to just be mindful, if you are in the system and seeing therapists, is that therapist making an effort to connect with your child on the level that they need, and not just coming in and literally ticking the boxes, which we've got our own experience of as well. And I'm like, see you later. You're not coming back to my house because you're not even attempting to engage my child on a loving,
ticking
energetic
boxes
level.
is just not the way to do it. Hey, I
No.
totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, thank you so much for sharing with us a little bit of your journey as a mother, like on the flip side. And I really
Yeah.
think it's so important that when we work with other families, knowing where we've come from, and, we wouldn't be teaching anything that we haven't walked through ourselves. And isn't it just so beautiful, these gifts that our children give us? And I always joke that my kids are my guinea pigs.
Yeah, same.
Because I feel like they're my testing grad going, oh, Mum, you're teaching that? Let me just see if you've got it first, or, oh,
Yeah.
Mum, you need to actually teach this. Let me show you how you're going to learn it yourself.
Yeah, I'm a bit the same. I do use them as my guinea pigs, but not just my guinea pigs, just for the learning and the lessons, and just go and that confirmation that I'm comfortable teaching other families and coaching other families, because when we're faced with a challenge, which we are all the time, we've got all sorts of stuff going on, all the time, but it's just how I'm able to handle it now, and able to just go straight to, okay, well, what can we do? And reframing negative thoughts and all the rest to create a positive outcome out of a challenge.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
that
think
is beautiful. That
that's
is,
what's
yeah.
important.
And it's a big growth. And I really do believe that if we can do it, so can anybody else, right?
If I
Like
can do
it's
it, anyone can do it. I've been in the absolute pits of despair I grew up in a challenging childhood as well, with no emotional regulation of my own whatsoever, barely knew what emotions were, undiagnosed autistic child, the works. If I can do this, anyone can do it. And I am proudly self-taught with my emotional regulation and my mindset. I love saying that I'm just completely self-taught.
Yeah. Yeah. And look at you. You're a bright, shining light. I absolutely love your work. Love how you show up. Love what you teach. Love what you give. Love you as a mother, the way you've, what I know of you, how you've shown up with your kids, and what I've seen. It's just, fabulous. And it has been a journey. Like I've been, so privileged to watch you through that journey over the last few years in particular. So I can totally attest to that, and just the steps you've taken to kind of get to where you are now, and just the acceptance. I think that's the word that keeps on coming for me, is that acceptance of I am exactly where I need to be, and it's okay, even if it is uncomfortable, right?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
it's okay. And so we deal with it very differently to being in that kind of pit of despair and crap and kind of scrambling in that all the time. It is a huge shift. So now your focus is all on children. Do you work with parents as well, or just the kids, or both? Like you mix both?
Yeah, parents and kids, family units, kids on their own, parents on their own, whatever's needed. I find a lot of parents work with me through their children, so they may start their children with me, and then they book in with themselves, or often in that first conversation, I've got some beautiful parents who go, yeah, it's not my child, it's me.
Yeah.
And
Gorgeous,
so
though, that
support me
they,
to parent first.
realize that. Yeah, that's amazing.
So yeah, parents as well. Oh, parents as well. Yeah.
So you've got a stressed out parent out there
Yeah.
with, how should we put this? Like, because I don't think children are really naughty. They just have needs that are unmet or needing attention in some form or just expressing. I mean, look, my eldest, his needs are met. Sometimes he just plays up because he wants the attention, or he's expressing how his personality is. He's
Yeah.
cheeky, he likes pranking, he's working out, wrong and right.
Yeah.
What are my boundaries? What can I do? That sort of stuff, right? But let's
Yeah.
just say we get a parent going, my child is driving me nuts. I am at despair. What is the one piece of advice you can give them right now, whoever's watching this and needs to hear it?
Okay, firstly, I would say everything that's happening to you is not happening to you, it's happening for you. That your child is playing up for a reason. And yes, whether it's their needs not being met and it's something the parent needs to actively do,
Mm.
or beautiful parent, do you need to just take down a bit of that emotion, a bit like a pressure cooker? And that's what a lot of the work I do is, if you imagine if you've got a pressure cooker and you undo that steam,
Yeah.
that's what a lot of my first sessions are, just that, let that steam go so that you can calm your body, calm your nervous system, calm your brain. And from there, from that space, often the situation doesn't seem as bad as what it seemed at the start, or you're able to think clearer around it as well. So that kind of thing often happens in just one session. Let's just release that steam so that you can think more clearly and see what you need to do, because our beautiful children are often mirroring what we need to work on in ourselves. And I say that with absolute love, not to freak anyone out, because it can be a
Totally.
freaky thought. But as
But I
soon as
love
you
that,
put yourself
it's
calmer,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know what it's like when the kids are little and you're stressed out and you don't show it to the kids, they play up because they can feel your emotions, whether you show them on your face or
Right.
not. So
Mm.
I just help parents to just release that pressure so they actually feel calmer in their body. And then often the child's behavior does calm as well. And at least we've just got a better ground for deciding what to do to move forward.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank
Yeah.
you. That is amazing. Is there anything else you would like to add to our listeners today?
Not really. Just thank you for having me. And if there are any parents struggling out there, or even would just like a chat about their kids, I would love to just have a chat. Just no
Add all
obligation
your details
chat.
at the end of
I do
this.
like to
Absolutely.
chat. I will just warn everyone now. I do like to chat, so you may need to give yourself a bit of time. Yeah.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much for your time, beautiful woman.
Thank you.
And we will
Thanks
have
for
all
having
the
me.
details of Nova at the end of this video, so you can contact her should you seek out her services, which I highly recommend. Thank you so much,
Thank
beautiful
you. Thanks so
woman,
much.
and we will be seeing you soon. Take
Thanks
care.
very much. Bye. Thanks for having me.